long have you been a priest, Father?
It'll be 30 years coming up in May.
And I read some things that said that you really started to develop some gifts as a child, right?
Yeah, as far back as I can remember as a 3- and 4-year-old, I remember seeing and hearing things that I thought most people had experienced. It wasn't until I spoke to my mom and other people that found out that it was not usual.
What was her response?
She was very supportive. She just said, you don't want to draw attention to yourself and just reflect on it. And if I had any questions, I should come to her and just pretty much keep it to myself.
Well, when you say you saw things, what kind of things did you experience?
I remember as a little child just coming to see interiorly mostly, not necessarily physically, but interiorly mostly what I was being taught in catechism class and in preparation for First Holy Communion. So it was sort of like a reinforcement of what I was reading, and I was like, yeah, this is real.
Were you afraid?
Some of the things were kind of frightening, and whenever I was afraid, I'd always just go ask my mom, what is this? And if she didn't know, she said, well, I'll make an arrangement to go see the associate pastor at church. So it really wasn't anything I needed to be fearful of. It's just that a lot of the questions that I did have, sometimes people couldn't answer, and so I just kept it to myself.
Father, do you think that children are just more open, and that's why they're able to see more than adults?
I think there's a special grace that is given to all of us. They're natural, innate gifts that we all have that we learn to grow out of only because there's no one there to coach. If you like basketball, if you like soccer, if you like tennis, the way to develop that ability is to find a coach that can help you along, to help you recognize the abilities that you do have and then bring you further. But there aren't that many spiritual coaches that allow us to understand the baptismal gifts that we're all given and those that are confirmed later on when we go through the sacrament of confirmation. And so it's hard to find a good coach, and I think that's the reason why most times people don't understand the fullness of their gifts, because they're gifts that are generously given by the Holy Spirit at our baptism, and everybody has them. It's just a matter of coming to understand what they are and then finding someone to help you walk through that.
You know, Father, I'm thinking my oldest son, we have 3 sons, when he was about 2.5 or 3, and he was very verbal, he used to tell me, Mommy, there's a man. There's the man's in the room. And I didn't see a man, but he most definitely was seeing something and someone. And honestly, I really didn't know what to do. I prayed and said if this is not of God, he had to leave right away. But I really, as a parent, I didn't know how to coach him through that.
I think a lot of parents have that experience where some of their children, if not all of them, have the ability to describe things that they can't see. And a lot of times it's written off as just being an imaginary experience, but most times it isn't. And because children are so pure, they're able to see things naturally and just allow them to occur like you would see anything else. But it's that whole coaching aspect that I said before that sometimes can be a problem. And if your parents were blessed with being able to use the gifts of the Holy Spirit to discern, it could be a help. But most times those gifts are dismissed, and children tend to trust their parents, and so they tend to dismiss them just as well.
So what should a parent do in that situation?
I think the best thing to do is just to really listen. Maybe not necessarily the experience, and just encourage them to speak their heart and their mind, not to be afraid. I think that's the most important things that parents can do is to make their children feel comfortable and not afraid.